that we need to look at whenever we're going to be putting people to do this job. It's got to be the fit, and I sent you the actual fit for this job back in February. And I know that Koya worked on making sure that people were fit, and I showed it to you this morning. But it's crucial that whoever does this job are able to grab this completely. Because of the power fingers. If they cannot grab it completely, okay, if their hands are too small, they cannot do this job. They cannot do this task. Because if they need to let go, or they need to move forward, they need to be able to use the power fingers, which we talked about in February. So, in order to test to see if these guys are able to do it, I need to make sure that you guys come up here, and you're gonna grip this, okay? And make sure that you can put your entire hand around it. If your hand is too small to completely put your hand around it, then you can't do this task. You wanna try it first? Can you do it? Okay, good. Yeah, we got to make sure that you can put pressure on here.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, can you put pressure here?
Pressure, yeah.
All right, and here too?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. You want to try because there's a reason why you'll understand and you already had part of this class in February, so you understand. All right, can you put pressure here? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Jameson, I know you've done this already. So now, the reason that the people that do this task, because we're going in an incline, which we're going to lose part of our strength. What we're doing today is we're doing an ergonomic presentation on how to actually do this task. This is very important because one of the things we're going to learn today is how to use our fingers and what each one of our fingers works as. Okay. Ergonomics basically started around the 1950s. I don't know if you can catch this, Mike, or not. It's the study of work. So it's the study of work. It's the art of fitting the job to the person. So instead of fitting the person to the job, we're fitting the job to the person. If you're capable to do this, all right? It's the opportunity to make work easier, and this view of ergonomics was good for our parents and grandparents. Right? Now, what is the new concept in today's world? All right, we're going to be working today with passenger service ergonomics for SkyWest, which, as you know, is part of United Airlines. In our new world, here we go. Today, we're looking at the whole person. We're looking at the job demands, the play demands, and the home demands. We want to make sure it's a complete win-win. Now, I know that Jameson took this class back in February, so it's not such a big deal. So today we're looking at you as a whole person. Not only what you do at home, at work, but what all the demands are of your work life. So, do we get another person in? So what are we looking at? We are going to be pushing a passenger. If you push a passenger incorrectly for 10 times a day, which is in an 8-hour time period, that's basically what you would do. What can happen to you? So in order for us to do this correctly, we want to show how the body works. It's a fulcrum. And how the body works is when you look at your body, what do you call the muscles up here? Not everybody at once now. What do you call the muscles up here? Not you, but right this. These are your biceps, right? And these are your triceps. So your biceps are 2, your triceps are 3. A lot of times when you walk around the airport, one of the things we see is people doing this. I call it the English tea time. They keep their pinkies out and they grab everything, even luggage, with their main fingers. That's what we're trained to do. Today, what we're going to teach you is why that is not a good idea. Are you going to be part of the class or?
Indian private.
Is he going to be part of the class? I gotta test it first. Okay. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at our body as an actual tool. Not only for here, but for home, for our play. Remember we talked about the different types of demands that we have. So because we're going to be pushing passengers up an incline, we want to make sure we use our body as a power tool and use it correctly. So if I can borrow you for a minute, I wanted to show you anatomically.
Hey Sarah, I can barely hear you.
These fingers go up to your neck. That's why sometimes when you work a lot, you feel that you have neck pain. The bottom fingers go, let me turn you around. The bottom fingers work your triceps, which is one more muscle than your biceps, but it also is connected to your back, your buttocks, and your legs. So you have a lot more muscle area. When you have more muscle area, you have a lot more power. So what I'm going to teach you today is how to activate those muscles. All right. Let me show you a little trick, and let me show you how it works. You're the safety guy now. You got to stay with me. All right. I want you to do is I want you to stick your hand out. Okay. And what I'm actually showing you is something in the Oriental philosophy of Aikido, Jiu-Jitsu, and all that kind of stuff. It's called ki, K-I, ki. All right. So it's nothing new. In fact, what we're going to learn today is what the football players learn to throw these big 300-pound guys over their shoulders and you go over. No. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to put your hand out. Okay. And the first thing I want you to do is with your real strong power fingers, I want you to grab on to this pen really strong. You went to the class.
Yes.
He's on the class already. What?
Were you on a class?
Yeah, he did the class in February.
I'm good.
Okay, so you're going to grab this pen, okay? And you're going to concentrate really strong, but I want you to leave these fingers out. All right? I want you to do that. So, a lot of techniques are used. This is used in martial arts. This is used in a company called, that was also doing Move Smart, and a bunch of other companies have come up with it. So, but it's basically showing different anatomy. Remember I told you that your hands control muscles up to your neck in the upper part. So what I'm going to do is I want you to stand very strong. I want you to give me your strongest stand. All right. I want you to think of you're going to punch somebody with an Aikido punch. Okay. And I'm going to, no matter how strong he is, you're not going to let me move him now. Okay. I'm going to bring him forward. You ready?
Yeah.
Now, if you notice, he's intending already, so he's moving back. So I'm going to bring him forward, and we're going to move him forward. And no matter what he does, he comes forward. I use two hands because he's young and I'm old. Go ahead, do it again. Now, I'm going to use one hand, two fingers, and once again, I'm old, he's young, and he's going in. Okay.
He's not even trying.
Now I want you to switch. I want you to move these, and I want you to let go of these. Now remember, what I told you was a lot of times when we go around the airports and we do this ourselves, we always grab everything with these two fingers. Actually, with the three fingers. And a lot of times we do, as I said, we do the British thing. We keep our pinkies loose or something because we're used to grabbing. We're used to grabbing a pen, for example. When you write, you grab hard, but these fingers kind of let loose. All right. So now do the same thing. Now remember, we are now activating the bottom part, which is our triceps, our back muscles, our butt, and our legs. So you have a lot more. And I want you to do the exact same thing. Stand strong for me as you did before. Now, remember I did two fingers before and I was able to move them? Am I moving you? Now I'm going to use two hands. Ready? I got them moved. But I also have a black belt. I also have a black belt in Aikido. I can move people. But did you see the difference?
Yeah.
And all we did is move the fingers. So what we're going to teach you today is how to connect that to when you're pushing and pulling people. Now, the other thing I want you to do is our head. Our head is the center of our body. It's also the fulcrum. So if a lot of times you see people that walk like this, what do? They look weak. Well, they are weak because you have a perfect sitting position. You stand up. You have your head up high. Whenever you see a leader, what do you see in a leader? You never see a leader Your head's down, right? What do you always see a leader with? Standing up, right? So I want you to grab out the same thing. I want you to focus on the bottom and let go of the two top fingers. Now, I want you to do something for me. I want you to bring your chin down to your chest. Now remember, this gives you power, right? But this cuts 50% of your power. Why? Because it takes the balance, it takes the power out of the body. Ready? No, don't go back yet. Don't go back yet. All right, ready? Now, I was able to move him. It was much more difficult, but I was able to move him. Now, bring your head up. Watch this. Do you feel the power?
Yeah, big difference.
Okay? Because what you're doing is you're putting your body in total control, and you're actually multiplying your strength by 10 times. So I want you to come up here and try it. Because a lot of this, come on. A lot of this is going to be how we're going to work with the wheelchairs. So I want you to face each other, and I want, yeah. And now you're going to be up here because you're going to be doing this training. Okay? So I want one of you to stick out your dominant hand. Which is your dominant hand? Your right or your left? All right, so you're a left-handed guy. Okay, so stand over here. All right, stick out your left hand. Bring it out. Okay, bring it out this way. Now, what I want you to do is basically the same exercise. Okay, I want you to put your chin to your chest. Okay, and now resist me as much as you can. Okay, ready? Good, resist me. Now, I want you to bring your head up. Bring your head up. Okay, now I want you to concentrate on these fingers on the bottom. Let go of the top. Now I want you to concentrate on these fingers and put your head up. Ready? Resist me. Resist me. You feel the difference? Because you now have your total body in, all your muscles are in control, and you have all the power behind you. You do the same thing, which is your dominant hand, right? Okay, now I want you to do the exact same thing. I want you to put your chin to your neck. Okay? And now watch this. This is one thing. Well, let's do two things. He's a lot younger than I am, so. You ready? Now, I want you to concentrate here, and I want you to bring your head up. Okay? You do good this because I see the way you are. You ready? Feel stronger?
It's pressure.
Before, I was able to bring him down with one finger, no problem. The other time I had more power. I want you guys to try it on yourselves. Because a lot of times, what happens is when we go home, because we're putting so much pressure, on these fingers and leaving these out, what we're doing is we're activating the short muscles and not activating our full muscles. So the reason that you've got to be able to put your hands on this, because what you want to do is you want to make sure you activate your big muscles, your football muscles, your martial art muscles, all right? It's like when a baseball player, I wish I had bought a bat. I was better prepared in February, but when the baseball player grabs, and he's ready, anybody here play baseball? Okay, so when a baseball player grabs the bat, all right, and you put pressure on the bottom two, and the top one, you direct where you want that ball to go, you're going to hit it in the direction, and you're going to put all your power behind it. So basically what we're doing is we're training you how to use your muscles as a sportsman to do this. So what I want you to do now is I want you to do the exact same thing as we did, and I want you, each one of you, to try it. I want you to stick out your dominant hand, which is your right, which is your right or your left, which is your dominant. Okay, stick out your left hand. Okay, bring these fingers in. Okay, bend your knees. Okay, be in a solid, strong position, and then I'm going to push you forward. All right, see, it's good. Now I'm going to push you back. You ready? You can hold it. The reason it's good to do both is because when you bring the wheelchair off the aircraft, which way are you going to come? You're going to be coming backwards. You're going to be coming backwards. So you need to be able to understand that when you put your pressure, whether you're going up or you're coming down, you want to make sure you put that pressure on those two bottom fingers, and you keep your head up no matter what you do. You got to keep your head up. All right? So I want you to try the same thing. I want you to put your hand out. I want you to put pressure on your bottom fingers, and I want you to stand on his side, over here, and I want you to push him Pull him forward, whatever you can. All right, you stay strong. Your barrel's outside. Ready? Go. Okay, so you see he's not moving. All right, now go forward, go backwards also. Yeah, go backwards like I did to you. You're gonna push him backwards because it's. No, keep it straight. You feel it? You feel it? You feel the strength? Okay, good. All right, take a seat. Okay. This is your spine. And what I want to make you understand is that the older we go, the older we get, the less power we have. Our cervical spine, when it's straight, you know, when your head is up, between the ages of 15 and 40 years old, you could put 1,450 pound pressure on your back if you are straight. Okay? Once you come out of being straight, once you move away from the body, it changes by almost 50%. And the further you are from the center of your body, the more it changes. When you're between the ages of 40 and 50, you're at 1,000 pounds. Now, when you're old like me, between the ages of 50 and 60, you're at 700 pounds of pressure. Now, when you get real old, you know, then 750 is all you can do. I decided not to go beyond that because, you know, we won't be able to. So, when you say to yourself, I get a wheelchair person who's 350 pounds, you guys would have absolutely no problem if you use the proper techniques because your body can actually hold somewhere from 14 to 1,000 pound pressure. Okay? Sorry? Yeah. All right? So that's why it's so important that you understand how much pressure we can put depending on the age. So the younger you are, the more pressure, which makes sense because your body's stronger. All right, so this is why we want you to stay in the center. Now what happens when you can't stay in the center? What happens when you can't, you know, stay perfectly in the center and actually move with the wheelchair perfectly in the center? We know about the fingers when we activate our back muscles, we know about the head, but let's say that we have to help a very heavy set person onto the wheelchair. Okay? There's other parts that we can do with our body. Remember, the further you are away from the body, the less power you have. And the closer you are, the stronger you are. And that is proven with the amount of weight you have. But there are times that you cannot do that. There are times you're going to have to be away from your body. For example, when you first start the incline onto, this is working. When you first start the incline, you're going to have to put some distance between you, the center of your body, and where you're going to get the momentum. So you're going to be further away. So what you have to do is you've got to concentrate. And by the way, before you use one of these things, make sure it works 100%. Seat belts and all, okay? We use this one because we're not putting anybody in it. But I'm going to borrow it. Now, if you remember, the further away you get from the center of the body, okay? Let's do it this way so you guys can see. The further away I get from the center of the body, the weaker I am. So here, all right, concentrate on your bottom fingers, all right, and resist me. Now he's in the center of his body, so he's pretty good. He's pretty good. Now, you saw that even though he was in the center of his body, although I'm not as strong as he is, I can bring him down some. The closer I get, the more difficult it becomes. The closer I get, it almost becomes impossible. Now, what happens if I need to do my job out here because I'm starting the incline of the push? Now you saw that out here, even though he's got all his head up and all that, he's not as strong. Okay, he's strong, but he's not as strong. Now watch what happens. I want you to take this hand and I want you to put it on anywhere on your body. And I want you to press down with your fingers on your body. Okay? Whatever you want. all right? Especially the power fingers, the fingers in the back. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to resist me again. Ready? You feel the difference in strength?
Yeah.
You know why? Because he's using his body over here as an anchor. You know how you're on a ship?
It's like a support.
It's a support. You know how when you're on a ship or when you're building a house and you put beams up? Well, what he's doing is he's using another part of his body because what he's doing is he's anchoring this way. He's moving this force to the other side of his body, so he's got like an anchor. So he's a lot stronger. The same thing happens when you go up front. Try it again. Okay? He's anchoring. Now, I want you to move forward with 1 foot, like this. Now, this is a good base. I'll do that again. So, let's say you're pushing a wheelchair, you're going to be moving forward, touch your body. He is solid as a rock, aren't you? Now, when you're pushing a wheelchair, or you're bringing down a wheelchair, you can't be touching your body, you can't be touching the person. But what you can be doing is you can be concentrating mentally, okay? You can be concentrating mentally as you go up on your power fingers, okay? And pick a part of your body that you can attach yourself to. Because all you're doing is you're using your body as an anchor. Okay? I want you guys to try that, because that's a very powerful tool. Coming up. Okay? I want you to try that. I want you to stand like this. Like this. Okay? Now, I want you to put your fingers together and resist me. Go ahead. You feel the strength? Okay. Now, I want you to put your hands on your wrist. Ready? You feel the difference in the power? I can't even bring him down with 2 hands. And he looks stronger because you can tell on his face he's not bracing. Come on. Okay, I want you to do the same thing. I want you to fully concentrate here. Okay, concentrate here. And I'm going to bring him down. Well, I'm not going to bring him down because he's going to stay strong. Ready? All right, go. And he's doing pretty good. Now, I want you to put your hand and put pressure on it, okay? Because remember, that's your anchor. You're a ship, and that's your anchor. Ready? All right. You can tell he's not straining a lot. Do you have any back problems?
A little bit, yeah.
Where? In your central body? It probably would not be a good idea for him to do this job. And I'll tell you why. Because when I did the second one, I didn't feel that his muscles were activated in the back. You have a problem in one of your discs in the back, right?
Just a little, they call it arthritis.
Arthritis, yeah. So it's probably not good for him to do this, for him to do this job, because although he's got the strength, he doesn't have the consistency like you saw with Gian. Gian, you can tell the consistency. With Valdemir, you can tell that he was good, but he didn't have the consistency to hold. And when you guys do this training, did you raise your hand? Okay. When the strength is here, is good, but now put your anchor on. But when the strength doesn't change from that, and you can tell on his face that there's a pre-existing condition in his back. So it's probably not a good idea for him to do this task. So I'm going to excuse you from the class. Okay. All right? This is not a good task. And you're going to find that when you're doing the training. When you're doing the training, guys, you're going to find that. You're going to find, first thing you're going to test, as we did, is you're going to test the hands. Then as you go in for the class, if you don't find a difference in resistance when they put another part of the anchor, that means that there's a possibility that it's pre-existing condition. Okay, so you as trainers are going to have to feel it. If you notice, you can tell when Genie here over here, he went like that, he was strong, he was very consistent. Okay? Take a seat. Now, all our wheelchairs, as you know, are on the side, right? So usually what people do is they just kind of come and flop, and they're dead weight, and they move over. One of the things that we're going to learn, and I want you guys to feel it, and we'll go over this, you and I will go over this in much more detail later, is when a passenger is trying to get up and get in, sometimes they can hurt themselves, especially if they're locked dead weight. If they can help you. One of the things that I want you to concentrate on, especially when you're doing these out chairs, so you can see how much help the passenger can give you, is when you bring them over to the side here, instead of having them lift like this, you know, and you put your hand out there, and you're trying to help the person up, and there's a lot of strength that the person has to do. And now I don't have any problems with my back, but if I did, that is not going to help. So what you're going to do is you're going to have the passenger scoot up. These chairs can hold. Scoot up to the chair as much as possible. Okay. You're going to have the passenger put 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Have the passenger put both their hands, if they do not have problems with their legs, put both their hands on their knees, and what you're going to do is you're going to use your power fingers in the back to help me move, and you're going to direct me to move this way. Because what you're basically doing with the passenger is you're helping them get up, but they're doing most of the lifting. I want you to sit down in front of us. I want you to get up like a normal person would from a chair, which is basically just this way. All right? Now, you feel a little strain in your back?
Yeah.
Okay, and he's young and healthy. Now, I want you to sit back down. Okay, now I want you to put this foot in front, that foot as far back as you can. One hand here, and one hand there. Now I'm going to bring you here. Feel this?
Yeah.
You feel this? Okay, now I'm going to direct you to get up and walk.
Off of the legs.
You feel the difference?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot more stable.
A lot more stable. When you're going to sit the passenger into the chair, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to hold them to the side. You're going to hold them with your hand here to the side, okay? Under here, right here, under the tricep portion here, okay? And you say, listen, let me help you get into the chair. If you would move 1 foot back and 1 foot forward, and you put your hand on your hip, and let me show you how this is done. Okay? You're gonna put 1 foot forward. Okay, yeah. But not right now for this one. Yeah. Well, you later on. We'll do the next class. What you're going to do is you're going to have your hands on your hips, and as you go down, you're going to do this. And the reason is you're actually helping yourself be that fulcrum, that strength, and then turn them around. It is a lot easier for them to get up and get down if they are their own force. And all you got to do is try that sitting down. Feel it?
Yep.
And now try getting up even by yourself. Feel it?
Yeah. Difference for moving feet.
Now put 1 foot in front. 1 foot in front. Put your hands on your hip. Okay, sit. Now do the same thing standing up and walk. Feel it? So that, just like what you felt, that's what the passenger's going to feel, and it's going to help them. And you guys didn't need my help to get up, but if you needed it, just a little touch on the side, right underneath here, will help them go. Okay? So, all right, take a seat. What I want you to understand is that you have to be in control. You have to be the power behind the passenger, because you're really their guardian angel. So you have to be the power. One of the things that risk factors that we have, okay? First risk factor is lack of rest. We should all get, at our age, we should all get 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night. Now I know when you're young and you're going out to the bars and you're hanging out and stuff like that, you go, oh my God, 3 hours is too much. No, if you want to not hurt yourself, you need to rest. 7 to 8 hours is the best time to rest. Lack of oxygen to your muscles. One of the things that I want to talk about is what do you think the oxygen in your bloodstream is? What is it? You know? Yeah. What do you see whenever you see a football game, a baseball game, when you see professional athletes in the gym, when you see martial artists? What's the first thing they do before they start working
Warm
out?
up.
Why do they warm up?
So you don't get strained.
Because lack of oxygen to the muscles, right? So and you don't want to hurt yourself. So what you do is, for example, Jameson here spends a lot of time on his butt. So where does all his oxygen go to? His butt, right? That's where it is. All of his oxygen, most of his blood is in his butt. So we do that too. You know, when we come back, when we come home, when we come to work, we got off the car, we got off the train, we got off the bus. We have to exercise before we start work. And when I'm talking about exercising, is I'm talking about getting the oxygen to your muscles. Because what's going to do the work for you? What is it what's going to do? It's your triceps, your back muscles. So if they're lacking in oxygen, you're starving them. So the best thing to do before you start a job is just to simply stretch. You want to stretch out so that you can get your blood circulated, so you're not like Jameson with all your blood in your butt, right? If you come from lunch, by the way, Jameson, I knew you run around all day. So when you come back from lunch, when you come back from break, you've been sitting. Okay? You've been sitting. So where's all my oxygen? Where's all my blood? It's in my derriere, as they call it, en Francois. So what you want to do is you want to get up, you want to do a few stretches. You don't have to lift weights, but you want to do a few stretches. You want to get some of that motion, because what you're basically doing is getting your circulation. What are you doing? You're getting your oxygen. Okay? The other thing you want to do is you want to hydrate yourself. Water is very important. What does water carry? H2O. So you want to make sure that you hydrate as much as possible so that you get a lot of oxygen, a lot of hydration, so your muscles aren't starved. What happens when you're starved? You're weak. So the same thing with hydration. And then lack of movement. Remember what I said, your blood is in your buttocks or in your legs? You want to get it moving through your whole body so that you become one powerhouse. So that when you activate your fingers to activate your back muscles, they're all there working. All your blood is going. Sometimes